Okay, just about to go on stage. I got a lot of things to say, a lot of songs to sing to the people behind me, but I want to talk to you a little bit about writing your third paper for English 131. I know, I know they're loud, but stay with me. You know, when we go on stage, when we stand before people and we share our truths, we share our songs, all the songs that I'm well known for, we are holding our audience in our hands and we are trying to say something to them that moves them, that makes them care about something, that sends them a message. We are trying to take them and make them feel something new, make them think something new, make them change something about their world. You have an assignment for English 131. That assignment is asking you to look at somebody who has stood up on stage and has said something, and then to write your own response where you are standing up on stage saying something. And while it's not quite equivalent, it's almost as if we have, give me a band, I'm old, what am I going to say? It's U2 going on stage, Bono's up there singing his truths, and then I come up on stage and I start singing my truths in response to Bono. And what I hope is that my voice is as loud and as strong and as persuasive as Bono's. If you're young, you may not know who Bono is. I don't know. What I want you thinking about with this paper is how you make your voice heard. But more than that, how you participate in a conversation, how you set your voice out in the world as an equal voice to those who have also spoken in the world. Let's go take a look at the assignment. So here we are on our page again. Let me change to student view so you don't get confused by all the stuff that is on my screen. So here we are on our page again. We are working on writing number 3. Hopefully you're going to think about that some during this spring break that we are beginning or starting to enter into. As you should have seen by now, the assignment for writing number 3 is very straightforward. It's not confusing. There's no hidden agendas here. You should be able to do this assignment pretty easily. I don't know why. Sorry. I don't know what's going on. Oh, there it is. You should be able to do this assignment fairly easily just by reading the instructions. However, I want to say a couple things about it, because one thing that happens often when we read instructions for assignments is that we tend to read those instructions in the way that we think that they're written, or through the lenses of our previous academic experiences. And so we can completely miss an assignment based on what we think it's saying or what we hope it's saying, that we hope that it's not saying this other thing that makes it much more work. So let's take a look at the assignment. Creating meaning alongside another's meaning, summary and response. The assignment. Find an editorial written about a protest that occurred this year, and by that I mean like going back a whole year, and write a response to that editorial. The assignment requirements. Okay, that's the basic assignment. It's pretty straightforward. Go find an editorial, write a response. You got to know what an editorial is in order to do this, and we've had some material that should help you find that. And you got to know what it means to look in a newspaper or a news site rather than just finding it on your Facebook page. So there's some special knowledges here, pretty slight special knowledges, things you should know that you got to have, but it's really straightforward. Go find an editorial, write a response. Here are the requirements that complicate it just a little bit. Your editorial must come from a professional newspaper or news site, likely from the opinion or editorial section. It must be an editorial, and it must be substantial enough to produce a meaningful response. So you can find editorial positions in newspapers that are just like one paragraph or just a couple of lines. You can find an editorial cartoon that's just an image with an idea. I want you to find an editorial essay that is substantial enough that you can respond to it. Okay? And it's got to come from a professional newspaper, from a news site. Don't go find the newsletter of your local Make America Great Again, Please, we don't know what else to say group. Don't just find a very small, very limited audience news site. Find a professional newspaper and find an editorial there. Your response must be, I'm sorry about the dog. Your response must be at least 3 pages long, and it must be use careful summary, paraphrasing, quotation as you write about the original editorial. And this is the actual academic part of the assignment. This is one of the things we've got to accomplish in 131. I've got to introduce the idea of using sources for you, and you've got to learn how to start to use them responsibly, ethically, and with intention. So you've got to be able to do summary, paraphrase, and quotation, and you've got to be able to include sources in your writing. Your response must develop into an essay of its own. When a reader gets done with your essay, they must care about more about what you said than what the original writer said. That sounds like a big task, but it's your writing. Of course you want your readers to care more about what you said than what the original writer said. If that wasn't the case, if you wanted them to care more about what the original writer said, you would just provide a link and say, go read this. You want them to listen to you, to pay attention to you. This crowd of people who stand before you waiting for your wisdom, you want them to listen. Your response should pay attention to what the audience needs in an essay. You should attempt to establish precise points, use solid evidence, develop meaningful explanations, all with clear writing and intentional organization. Make choices here that make your writing work. This is our third writing assignment for English 131. At this point, I expect students to start making choices that they are making in order to make a piece of writing work. Your essay should show the effort that's appropriate to college writing course, something that some people are still working on, and you must include a works cited page in your final draft. Okay, all of that is the basic stuff. And really, it is still very much a straightforward academic writing assignment. It's an assignment that you might have many times throughout your college career. I am asking for a little bit more here with your own voice, your own point of view, your own editorial, but it's a basic assignment. That's what I say next. This writing assignment might well sound like a normal, everyday writing assignment. Find something to read and then respond to it using summary skills. And it's true, you've probably had many writing assignments like this over the years, and you'll probably have many more. But the requirements here are asking for something a bit more. You simply cannot write a thoughtless response to a general reading. You must write a clear, specific argument that has been developed as an equal contribution to the discussion your editorial began. This assignment is asking you to pay attention to the following skills in writing. Analytical and critical reading. You got to know what you're writing about, so you got to read this editorial very carefully. Using a source as a counterforce. That is, you're writing in response to the source, so it is your counterforce. Developing a persuasive argument. Finding and establishing your voice. Writing with meaning. It's a straightforward assignment. The work you end up doing is not so straightforward. And you've got to really think through this. Think through, why should we listen to you when you come up on stage when the previous person sounded just fine? Why should we listen to you when you start singing if Bono was singing before you? Again, if you don't know who Bono is, sorry. The point of this is you are on the stage. You are making the noise, and you have to take us in your hands and make us care about what you have to say. But you're doing it in response to the previous person. Okay. That's the assignment. I don't know that there's much more to say about this other than this is what college writing is. It's what it means to become a professional. It's what it means to become a citizen. That when you stand up and talk, your point should be as important and as valid and as well thought out as the next person's. That when you stand on the stage, people have to listen. That's what happens in citizenship. It's what happens in democracy, that your voice is as important as every other person's voice. But the way that you make it important, the way that you make it more effective, is by working on your arguments and working on the ways that you persuade others. Find an editorial, think about it, analyze your own responses to it, write a response that is meaningful as its own statement. And again, of course, as always, because some people haven't gotten this yet, it's got to be about protests. You can't just write about marijuana, why marijuana should be legalized, or why abortion is right or wrong. You've got to write about protest, and if it's a anti-choice protest that you're focusing on, that previous editorial focused on, that's fine. But you're writing about the issue of protest, not about the issue of abortion. Okay. Keep working on this. The assignment's going to be due the week after we come back from spring break. Again, we do have spring break this week. You can expect to find grades on writing number 1 posted early next week. I will hope to get to writing number 2. I'm not sure if I will, because it's spring break and I'm going to Tahiti. Not really. I'm going to the backyard. I'm going to clean up some dog poop, and then I'm going to go up on stage and blow Bono off the stage with the power of my voice. Have a great spring break. Get some rest, some relaxation, and of course, work on your paper, which is kind of countering the rest and relaxation. Come back. We'll talk next the week after this coming week. Take care.